Welcome to Manners Matter, Episode 2. I'm Matt.
I'm Mia.
Alex.
I'm Alex.
I'm Alec.
And that's definitely not Phil over there.
Yeah, totally not.
So this week we were supposed to be having a script and whatnot again, but
that's outdated. And it's overrated. And all of those different things. So, we did away with it. So now it's just a normal conversation.
yeah, we put that into the flaming garbage disposal. Right, Mia?
Yes, we did.
That was an amazing way to say it, Mr. Matthew.
Thank you.
Okay, so what are we going to be talking about this week?
Compassion. That's what my cue card says, and Phil says to stop breaking the fourth wall.
Okay, so what is compassion?
Well, Google says to me here, because reasons,
Google is the meta of all search engines.
to have compassion means to empathize with someone who is suffering and to feel compelled to reduce the suffering. It's pretty much empathy and sympathy rolled up into a little feelings burrito. Go ahead.
That was a very lovely way of putting it. I like the burrito.
Exactly. The transition on that sentence was completely just undiagnosed.
Yeah.
Okay, so with compassion, what are there different types of compassion, or can you give us an example? Does anyone think they have a personal connection to something with compassion?
I mean, I know that compassion mainly has to do with just caring for others and making sure they do the same.
Well, I had something happen to me last Tuesday.
And what's that?
So I was at Target, right? We all know how the people around Target are. They're kind of inconsiderate, in a hurry, and don't care for each other at all, which is pretty much every other public space now that COVID's around, but...
True, it's all selfishness.
Anyway, this old lady, she dropped all of her groceries right by the door. And, 6 people walked right by her. Nobody stopped to help her. So...
Really?
Yeah, nobody at all. So I went over and I helped her pick it up.
I mean, yeah, that's good. It's not nice to just walk by, put yourself in that situation. If
you have the energy to walk by something like that and not bother to help or at least ask for help, then there's a problem.
Yeah, it's just put yourself in that situation. You wouldn't want to be the one that just dropped everything and just people are walking by.
And it's not even like she could have done it on her own and people could have saw that. She would have thrown out her back doing it.
Yeah, you gotta think of these things. Okay, so what are some ways to show compassion? What do we think? There's easy ones, just simply holding the door open for someone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or donate to charity.
And like Matthew just said, walking past somebody and helping them pick up something that they dropped or can't lift up themselves.
Simple things that happen every day and people just don't think about them, don't do them.
Simple things that can make yourself be a role model for others, essentially.
Yeah, wouldn't the world be such a better place, Alex, if everybody was just a little nicer, helped each other out a bit more, felt more compassion?
Yeah, if everyone just worked as a team and was nice to each other, the world would for sure be a better place.
And a lot of people think it's like such a big, like you have to completely change yourself to not be this rude person that you think you are. But it's not, like we just said. It's simple acts of kindness that do that. Showing compassion is one way to start that. Instead of walking past the older lady that dropped all of her things, you could help pick it up. It wastes, 5 minutes out of your day?
Yeah, and doing that sort of thing just helps you feel like a better person. And it's not just helping that person, it's helping you.
Except it's not a waste. It's something that can help others or even your entire community.
Exactly. And like Mia said, it's not something that takes a lot of time to do. You can help somebody out.
Or
It can
effort.
be a gradual process.
Now, okay, we all know that COVID-19 is going on right now. So instead of like a hug, someone's feeling sad, what are things that you can do now that are like COVID friendly, COVID safe, instead of those like touching compassion things?
You can you could FaceTime and ask them how their day was. Cheer them up. Let them know that you're there to talk if they ever need to.
You can even host a Zoom meeting like we're actually conveniently doing right now. And
Phil doesn't want us
basically
breaking any more fourth walls. He's already replaced 2.
And in the Zoom meeting, you might even be able to tell them like that how much of a benefit they are to your life or whatever else.
Or just
It's this
bonding. Like,
it's the small stuff generally that gets to people the most.
Yeah.
like simple stuff, yeah. Like our group, as you know, Manners Matter, we just came up on the topic of spending a lot of time doing work instead of actually like, going and spending time with family, which could be a way of showing like compassion because say your family, your family probably misses you. You're on a computer or something all day long and then you're doing Zoom meetings or going to in-person classes and then you come home and you still have work to do. So limiting the time you're actually spending doing work and making time to spend time with the people that want to see you or feeling down and they need you.
Like balancing it all out, like life skill.
Before my grandpa officially retired, now this is the grandpa on my mom's side, he worked at a VFW back up in Massachusetts. And every year around Christmas, they would have this huge Purple Heart ceremony.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And for those of you that don't know what the Purple Heart is, my parents explained it to me that first time that I attended one, because my dad started helping out there. The Purple Heart is an award that goes to veterans who were injured or killed in battle.
That's such a nice thing.
Yeah.
It's touching that they gave their own like award and their own ceremony and their own time to other people who drastically lost their lives in this dramatic time.
Yeah, okay. How about more personal stories? Did you see something that you wanted to share? Anyone here? Maybe it didn't even have to be this week. It could have been a few years ago that you just thought you might like to share with us. I know I have, which I will forever remember. This was back a few years ago while I was still living in New Jersey. And we were driving. We drove through the night this one time, my family and I, and we stopped at like a gas station. And there were these 2 homeless men with a dog that were sitting on the stairs because they didn't have enough money to actually buy stuff to eat. So my father went in and he bought them 3 hot dogs, so 2 for the men and then one for the dog. And then he made their day. He came back and gave it to them. And I just thought that was so cool.
That's really touching. That got me right in the heart.
It's a simple thing. It's like, it might not be big to someone who has a lot of stuff or who doesn't have to deal with that, but people who actually have to deal with some of the stuff, it's like, it makes your day.
Yeah. And I just looked up the Purple Heart thing because I didn't know if I was right or not. And it says, according to www.purpleheartpickingup.org, that the Purple Heart is a congressionally chartered charity composed of military men and women who received the Purple Heart Medal for wounds suffered in combat.
Okay, yeah. So you were right.
Yeah, I was kind of half right.
But that's okay. You don't need to be right all the time.
Exactly.
Okay, so we wanted to try this interactive thing with viewers that are watching. And we have some, like, a question we want to ask you, and you can just, like, write down a comment.
Yeah. Write down a comment. Tell us what compassion means to you. You can give us an idea for an episode. And if you check out our channel, there you can email us. We check our email weekly. So if you have any
not
ideas,
to toot our own horn or anything, but if you subscribe and hit that notification bell, you will know whenever we upload, and you might just get your own idea in a video. So that's pretty cool.
Okay, so to review, this whole thing is about compassion, and we're doing kind of what it means to us, right?
yeah.
Okay, so we didn't all share our own stories, but we all chimed in a little bit. But I just wanted to go over, like, how compassion fits in with manners, because our whole group is about manners and why they matter. So
That is our name, right?
Does anyone have any thoughts on?
So,
how they
like,
connect?
overall, if compassion and manners didn't merge, then they would obviously be two separate things, and the whole in-between factor just wouldn't fall into place. Because compassion and manners might seem like a very similar thing, but they need each other to be a whole.
It's a symbiote circle.
Exactly.
Okay, so you got me thinking on another idea. Thank you, Alec. Do you guys know, like, like a chain of events, like a chain that happens, one thing leads to another, right?
Cause, effect,
Yeah,
effect, cause.
Chronological order.
Okay, so that got me thinking of, like, instead of, like, okay, we're going back to your idea of the older lady that dropped something at Target, right?
Yeah.
So say we had those people, instead of walking past, they helped her pick up her groceries or whatever. Then she went on and she saw something that was like someone that fell, or someone that was like crying, or someone that didn't feel good. And she helped them with that. She wanted to pass on that compassion. Then they're going to do the same thing. And it leads to a chain of everyone's just, spreading compassion. It's just small things, but they lead to another and lead to another and lead to another.
Exactly. It's like when you give compassion to somebody, largely they will pass it on to somebody else because you gave them that ability, that charm to be like, yeah, I'm going to give that to somebody else too. And then they give it to somebody else, and they give it to somebody else. And then if that just keeps happening, then the world will be such a better place. And then it'll elevate to people will be nicer to each other all over the world, and it'll just all fall into place for everybody.
I think you're confused about what compassion really is. Excuse me. I needed to clear my throat. It's not something that you give out. It's like respect. But, well, no, that's a bad analogy. It's a trait. Compassion is a trait. Parents, if you're listening to this, teach your kids to be compassionate. Teach them to care. Because I tell you this, and I tell you this now, if nobody teaches their kids to care about one another, we're going to have a sociopathic generation on our hands.
Big words, Matt.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah. So thank you for correcting me. You're right. It's not something that you can give out. But okay, so we need a clear definition on what compassion is then, because I don't think I fully grasped the idea of it. So can anyone help me out there?
Alex, you haven't spoken in a while. Got something cooking in your brain?
Just trying to think, but it's like compassion is just giving sympathy. Well, not giving, but like having sympathy towards others that may need help or in need of some help.
That is
Okay.
entirely right.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I think I get it now.
So generally, it's mostly about good manners and adhering to societal rules and norms, like what we see upstanding, like good citizens, if you will.
Upstanding
But
citizens are just people who get recognized for being good people.
Yeah, and compassion generally refers to our tendency and emotionally concern towards others about being cold-hearted and what we'd see in the proverbial Good Samaritan.
I like that word, concern.
I like the word Samaritan in there, but
Yeah.
that's my 2 cents on it. And for our younger or even our older viewers, well, I shouldn't say viewers, but it's the right word. Make it a game. Challenge yourself. Make it say you want to be more compassionate. You can just challenge yourself. For like day 1, you can challenge yourself to be compassionate to one person. And then maybe ramp it up to 2 the more that you go.
And adding on to what Matt said, the more you do it, the more it's not going to become a chore of something to remember. It's just going to be like something natural that happens. You're learning that skill, compassion.
Yeah. That's a nice way of putting it.
And just now, Phil the Interface Angel just suggested to me to tell the younger viewers, per se, about manners and compassion. Well, generally, just be nice to others and encourage them to pass it on.
So,
I like that.
if nobody's got anything left to say, then I guess that's our podcast for the week. As we said earlier, please hit that notification bell, subscribe if you like.
And comment down below any ideas or any personal experiences you've had.
And in an ocean of ignorance,
Manners
Manners
matter.
We're gonna get better at this. We're gonna get better at this, guys.
Yeah, that needs to be.
Okay, make sure you guys tune in next time.
Bye.
Bye.